All right, happy Saturday, Central Georgia. It's Meteorologist Ansley Parker here. We are going to dive into your weather impact alert that is in place today and talk a little bit more about what you can expect for the rest of Saturday and then also what you can expect for the rest of the upcoming weekend. We still have rain chances all the way through about Monday, and then I think you're really going to like what's on the rest of the 7-day forecast. We're finally going to take a break from this dreary pattern, so I'm going to explain it all, break it all down in a little more detail here on the 13WMZ Plus app. So we are going to take the graphics full screen as we always do, and we're going to start again as we always do with a look across all the sky cams this morning. So right now it's just a continuation of what I feel like has been almost a week straight of just dreary skies. I believe the only day that we weren't sitting under this kind of scene was Wednesday. We had a brief break where we got a little bit of sunshine, but pretty much Monday through the weekend, this is how the skies have looked with the exception of Wednesday. So same kind of thing today. And unfortunately, if you're starting to get a little sick of this, there's a couple more days of this ahead of us here. So across the sky cams right now, again, everybody has that dreary look. You may be able to tell that in downtown Macon it is actually raining a bit, and I believe I can see some raindrops falling in Dublin as well, and potentially Warner Robins. There could be raining there in Perry. We're going to look at the satellite and radar in just a minute. I'm just not able to tell, but actually I think I may be able to see a couple of raindrops on there. Regardless, it is a rainy scene for most across the area, and as we head further into the rest of the day, more and more spots are going to begin to see some rain. So the headlines that you need to know kind of heading into the rest of the weekend is that this stretch again continues. It will be here through about Monday, and then as we head into Monday night, that is when some clearing will finally take place. So if you are trying to look for your next opportunity to be outdoors without this pattern uninterrupted, we will probably say Tuesday will be the start of some better weather. So just plan on today, Sunday, and Monday looking a little bit like what you see outside right now. It's reflected as well in the temperatures. Not only does it look gross outside, but it feels kind of gross too. You can see across the state, we're pretty much locked into some cool numbers right now. Here in our area, we're somewhere between the mid 40s to low 50s, and the numbers that you see are really not going to move much from where they are right now for the rest of the day. With the rain that we have out there, temperatures are not really going to climb much higher than this. Today's high, this is for Macon, I put 50 degrees, but you saw we already have some low 50s on there. So I think the low 50s is just about as warm as we're going to get for the rest of the day. Obviously, this is nice and cool. Feels even cooler with the rain out there. And then the big story is the fact that we are going to continue to have steady light rain through the rest of today. Of course, we are in a weather impact alert. If you're curious for what you need to know for this weather impact alert, it's really pretty straightforward. The only reason that we've gone with the weather impact alert for today is just because of the rain and how it's impacted events across the area. So we were supposed to have a lot of holiday parades across our entire area today. A lot of the big ones have been canceled or postponed. And some of them are still going on. I know that Macon is still doing theirs. I believe that's tomorrow. And I think they'll still be able to, but we just kind of wanted to throw it out there. Today's just not the best day. Obviously, a lot of these events have been canceled and postponed. But the good news is, despite this being the case, that it's this chilly on and off rain, I think this is a pretty light rain. So we're going to see the satellite and radar in just a minute here. It's not going to be a heavy downpour really at any point, but you're kind of just going to be dealing with this pesky light rain that probably will have you hitting the windshield wipers once or twice, or if you're outside, it's going to be annoying to sit under, but overall it's not really making it kind of like a total washout. You can't be outside at all, or you have to kind of run from your car to places. It's honestly more nuisance than anything. So without me just talking about it, I'll show you on the satellite radar. You can kind of tell we have this funnel of moisture coming in from the Gulf. So we've got this almost strange looking flow that's coming in from the southwest. We also have, and you can see a little bit in the cloud cover in the northern corner of the state, a cold front that's heading our direction. That will not be to us until Monday. So we're going to be seeing that push across the area on Monday. It's going to wipe out all of this rain, but again, it's not here just yet. So we're just continuing to have this stream of moisture into our area, and it's causing some rain chances across the region. So we've seen these spotty light showers happening throughout most of the morning. Now that we're entering the mid-morning hours, we're starting to see this become a bit more widespread. Taking away the clouds, stopping the motion of the radar, you can really focus in on where rainfall is occurring. It's mainly in the northern half of the viewing area right now. Like I said, it's not really going to be a downpour situation at any point. The heaviest rain that we're seeing right now is indicated in the yellow color that you can see on the radar, and it's patchy yellow at best. And really, when we're talking about yellow, it's probably a good light shower, but the oranges and reds are when we really start seeing a downpour. So right now in downtown Macon, which we could see it a little bit on the sky cam, we've got some of that yellow across our northern counties, namely Jasper, Monroe, and Upson. There's some of that yellow as well. And then the rest of it is really just this light green, which again is just kind of a light drizzle. Down in our southern counties, we did actually have a couple of showers early this morning in the same spots that we're seeing showers right now. So Telfair, Montgomery, and Wheeler, as well as Troutland, have had a lot of showers earlier today. Now we're seeing some of that light rain creep its way into Lawrence County. Obviously, we saw some showers on the Dublin Skycam. And then in Perry and Warner Robins, it's spotty, but it's there for sure. We'll have some light rain in that area. And again, through the rest of today, this will just be happening and kind of continuing to take over the rest of our counties that haven't seen rain just yet. A steady light rain is expected through the entire day, which I'm about to give up because I don't have pause points on here. So if I take the future view out again through the rest of the day, this is this afternoon. We're still dealing with a lot of this steady rain, probably moving into our southern counties. And then by the time we get into late tonight, so probably around 8 to 10 p.m., that's when we'll see a lot of this rain begin to move out. But like I said, just because we leave the rain behind does not mean we leave the dreary pattern behind. Kicking off Sunday, you will still have these gray skies to greet you in the morning. And in these gray skies, there may be one or two just spotty light showers for Sunday. But overall, Saturday is going to have the main rain chances. Sunday is just going to be these really light spotty showers, if anything. It should be a mainly dry day on Sunday. It's just, again, going to continue to look a lot like it does right now. A lot of cloud cover, gray skies, and just overall cool and dreary. But like I said, it will be a little bit drier. Heading into Monday, it's the same kind of thing as Sunday. A few spotty light showers, but overall the rain chances are lower. And then we'll keep the dreary look through most of the day. But by the time we get into Monday evening, Monday late night, we'll start to see this dreary pattern begin to break up, and it sets the stage for what will be a much drier, overall just much better looking rest of the work week ahead of us here. So Saturday's the day with the main rain chances. Sunday and Monday, still going to be gross days, but the rain chances are going to be a little bit lower. If you need to be outdoors for the end of the weekend or the beginning of the work week, you should have a little bit of an easier time doing that. If we play the long range out, I actually didn't throw any pause points here either, but that was more on purpose. There's really no notable rain chance in the next 7 days. Obviously, you can kind of see some spottiness happening in the long range here sometime late Thursday or early Friday. What you see there is a cold front that kind of tries to drag through here. We're trying to figure out right now how much moisture it actually has to work with. At the moment, it doesn't seem like it's going to have a lot. When you see the 7-day forecast, you'll see a 10% chance of rain for Thursday and for Friday. Overall, it's probably a low-end rain chance. If we happen to see anything, it'll be really spotty, and I don't think it's going to be a widespread rainmaker. But kind of the gist of what you should take away from the long range here is that the next widespread rainmaker is not in sight. There's really no notable rain chance on the 7-day forecast beyond what you're seeing today, tomorrow, and Monday. So once we can rid ourselves of this little pattern, we're going to have a lot smoother sailing ahead of us here. So let's see if this graphic will load, because for whatever reason, these rainfall graphics keep wanting to not work whenever I'm actually trying to go through a show. I'll give it one more minute and then I'll try to reload it here. But I want to kind of paint the picture for you of rainfall totals for today compared to what we saw earlier this week, to kind of give you a little bit of hope that it's not going to be a downpour today, which I've mentioned a few times, but this maybe should help put a little bit of a visual to that. Ugh, if this would load. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's very frustrating. Let me see if I can try reloading it here on my computer. This is really, there we go. Okay, I don't know what's up with this graphic and me. We seem to have a fight almost every single time I try to use it. Every time I was on the air earlier this week, it would work when I was standing at my computer, but then once I went up to the green screen, it didn't work. So that was really awesome, but we got it. So this is what I was trying to show you. was that from the last couple of days, obviously we had a more widespread rainmaker earlier this week. On Monday was kind of our main rainfall event, and we actually have been able to pack on some pretty good rainfall totals from that, and then from the little rainfalls that we've had over the next few days. We've had in the heaviest spots close to 3 inches of rain. Even in some of the lighter spots, we still saw over an inch, close to 1.5 inches. So we had some pretty heavy rainfall makers earlier this week. Heading into the rest of today and then what we see on Sunday and Monday, that is not going to be the case. Like I've mentioned a lot, what we're going to see today is going to be a very light rain at best, and you can see with the projected rainfall totals, I mean, we're talking about in the heaviest spots getting close to 1/2 inch of rain. So that's why I keep trying to hammer the point home. This is not going to be a downpour situation. It's really going to be a nuisance rain, if anything, where it almost feels like it's light enough rain where you could be outside, but it's just enough to keep you indoors, if that makes sense. It's almost going to be super irritating for the rest of today, sometimes on Sunday and sometimes on Monday, but really this will be mainly today. So if you're going to try to brave this, my advice to you would just be have a rain jacket and have a regular jacket. I don't think it's going to deter you from being outside altogether, but again, it will still be raining and it will still be cold all day today. Drier on Sunday, drier on Monday, but you will deal with rainfall up to around these amounts later today. So with what we saw earlier in the week, we talked a little bit about how it might impact our drought monitor. It kind of has done what the hope was, which was keep our area away from being in the extreme drought category. So obviously it would be more ideal if what we saw earlier this week was able to wipe us out of a specific category, maybe drop us from severe drought into moderate drought. That wasn't necessarily the case. I think we need another good rainfall maker before we can really see a good impact being made on the drought monitor, but it did do what I was hopeful that it would do, which was keep the red color that you see creeping into Crisp County away from our area. So I think we were creeping close to being in extreme drought for a lot of areas. I think this rainfall has kind of held off on doing that. Obviously it didn't reverse any of the drought conditions that are already existing, but it did help a little bit with just keeping us out of things that could be a little bit worse. So that's where things stand on the drought monitor as of the latest run, which came out on Tuesday, I believe. We'll see how this looks next week, but obviously what we see tomorrow, today, and Monday is not going to make a huge impact on that with rainfall totals that are going to be near 1/2 inch in the heaviest spots. But I just like to show you where that stands. Obviously, this is kind of a big story for us right now, so it's important to check in with that from time to time. So we talked a lot about rainfall. Temperatures aren't really going to be the biggest story this week, but I will touch on them briefly just because, again, it's dreary outside and the rain chances are there, but it's also been really cool. So today, high temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. Tomorrow on Monday, with rain chances being a little bit lower, the highs will climb in the mid to upper 50s, so a little bit warmer than today. And then when that cold front comes through and wipes out the rain chances, we're going to drop back down into the low 50s. So definitely a cool next 4 days or so. But notice on Wednesday, we jump back into the low 60s, which actually, if you can look on the corner, the right-hand corner of your screen, the average high for this time of year is supposed to be 63 degrees. So by Wednesday, we're actually working our way back up towards average for this time of year. And I'll show you the 7-day forecast here in just a moment. We're going to hang out there for the second half of the work week. That's the high temperatures, but what about the lows? Well, I think we're going to be going in the opposite direction. So it's been, I would not say warm, because obviously it hasn't been super warm, but it's not been as cold as it could be for the last couple of mornings. We've been in the 40s. We're going to hang out in the 40s or upper 30s for the next couple of days, but by Tuesday, a big drop off back towards near freezing or below freezing for this time of year. So 39 should be the average high this time of year. Like I said, the afternoon highs are going to go back towards average, but the morning lows, I think, are actually going to swing in the opposite direction. So I'll show you the 7-day forecast to kind of piece that together here. But you can see we have some pretty warm afternoons ahead of us, but the mornings stay fairly cool. Beyond Wednesday, highs are going to stay right around average in the low 60s. The overnight lows are going to fluctuate between really cool to around average to really cool. So overall, we should be swinging back towards just more temperate and better looking weather. If you've got plans next weekend, things are looking better. If you're looking to just enjoy the holidays and be outdoors, I think the rest of this upcoming week is going to be a much better opportunity to do that. Obviously, what you see in red, the weather impact alert, is in place for today. It's just, again, because of how many things were going on across the area. So we really wanted to make people aware that we were going to have this just not great forecast for Saturday. Sunday, obviously the rain chances get a little bit lower, but the dreary pattern continues. Same thing for Monday, but the sun will start to come out sometime later Monday evening, and then we are smooth sailing for the rest of the week heading into the midweek. So better weather is on the way. We just got to deal with what's out there right now. And again, it is kind of starting to take over our area a bit. If you haven't seen rain just yet, you very likely will by the time we head into the afternoon. If you're already seeing rain, it's going to continue at least for the next little bit, probably at least into the early evening. So that is what the satellite and radar looks like right now. Obviously, it's not the best looking scene, but like I said, it's a light rain. So if you're able to, maybe you might have a chance to get outside at some point later today. That kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about in the forecast today. I'm going to leave the graphics full screen and leave the satellite and radar here for you all so that you can kind of sit with this. If you're interested or if you're just tuning in, you can check on what's going on the radar. Hopefully you're able to stay warm and stay dry for the rest of your Saturday. Better-ish things are in store tomorrow, at least some drier weather tomorrow, and then things only go up from there. As we head into Tuesday and the rest of the work week, the weather is only going to improve. So just hang on, make it through this dreary weekend, and then hopefully things will get a little bit better. I will be filling in for meteorologist David Guerrero tonight, so I'll be back at 6 and 11, and then of course, I'll be right back here tomorrow morning with another update on the forecast. So hopefully you can join us later this evening. If not, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great weekend.